website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Stop this racket. How do you learn to improvise? Most people say learn some licks, learn little bits and pieces of what other people played, and then do some exercises to get a flexible left hand, learn your techniques, and then by sheer miracle of the human brain, you are going to be able to improvise at some point. But what often happens to people, in my perspective, even top players, is that they start repeating themselves. They start playing the same phrases over and over again, like reading from the same little book, just different sentences and shuffling them around. So you're basically hearing the same story all the time. The same elements, just in a new order, slightly different. And that's not improvising to me. Improvising in its true sense means that you're actually coming up with new lines, or licks if you want, on the spot that you never played before. And how do you do that? Well, that's a magical quality. No, I wouldn't accept that. It's not. It is simply a craft. Like, you can talk, you can improvise stories, right? You can come up with stuff as you talk, just by sheer association. You say, you orange, there once was an orange who went on a voyage, and then you start improvising your story. If you have to, you can do it. And just by association, because orange reminds you of something else that then reminds you of something else. Orange reminds you of apples, and apples reminds you of, your grandma. So the orange met an apple. Let's go home to grandma, the apple said, right? So you just associate. And the same thing goes for improvising, but how do we actually practice that? And how do we practice it when the track in the background is really fast? Like, you have to produce something, and it has to be now. And the track is like, right? So before you even get to think one thought, you're already into the 8th bar of the track, right? That's a huge challenge, or maybe it isn't, if you know how to practice it. And in this video, I'm going to give you one concept, one specific method, and very practical little thing that you can do that I call moldable licks. And it's basically a matter of staying the same place on the neck, staying in with the same 3 notes, 4 notes, whatever it is, the same rhythmical concept for long enough for you to be able to improvise with it, change it over and over and over again, and never run out of licks or lines with the same freaking 3 or 4 notes. You can actually practice that. And I'm going to show you how in this video. Very practical exercise. You can do it right away. And I should say, in our course that we got out now, we got tons of different areas or different concepts. Sorry, that's the word that you can use. And in this video, I'm going to give you one concept, but it just expands. You can play solo after solo with this one concept. And once you start stacking these different little strategies, concepts of how to do this, then you can, learn one after the other. You will never run out of licks again. You will never feel that, oh, what should I play? That's just not happening. Then I need to come up with something. That's never a challenge, because you like talking, right? Oh, what should I talk about when I meet my friend? I wonder how I will meet that challenge of discussing my day or talking about my life or whatever interests me. That's not a challenge, as it is not a challenge for me to improvise. Not saying that to stroke my own whatever. It's just a fact that you can learn it. It's a craft. It's not talent. It's not some magical quality. So let's just go into one of these really cool ways of improvising and learning improvising. So let's have a look at this moldable lick. I'm just going to give it to you in little pieces, and then you can play around with it, change it yourself, and expand it, which is really the process. This is as much an exercise as it is a lick. So let's just start with the first little movement. Right, Right, we're in the key of E here. We got the first position, E minor pentatonic, with the added blue scale up here, or blue note, in the 12th fret, first position. We got the 4th position down here, where you got the 7th, the 10th on the high E string, the 8th and 10th on the B string, the 7th and 9th on the G, and then 7 and 9 on the D as well, and then 7, 10 on both the A and the E down here. So, and we're in the key of E here, so I'm using that pentatonic sound with some added notes from the E natural minor scale, which is, so I'm using both actually, but with a basis in the pentatonic. And I'm here on the G string, 7th fret, 9th fret. I pick the first note and the second, but then I slide it up to a note from the natural minor scale in the 11th fret, and then back to the 7th, and then play the 9th again. Pretty simple. And you can play and just have that slide beat and the vibrato on the last note, but you can also go pinch that, so you hit the, instead of just playing the 9th fret, you can hit the note just before that and go, so I go, so I pick this twice and then hammer on to the last one very rapidly. You can add a variation that says you slide up to the 12th fret after you hit that last note. Right? Seven, 9, slide to 11, 7, 9, slide to 12. And you can also add some little upstroke pinch harmonics where your pick hits the string, or the string hits the pick, and then you hit the string hits the tip of your index finger right after with the upstroke. And you can alternate between the two notes. You can play that first and that second. All right. Another variation. You hit the note in the 9th fret, go to the 7th fret. You might want to stop right now and just learn the first little bit. Play that 10, 20, 30 times. Record yourself, for instance, so you have it in your fingers and on your phone. Right? Then you can go. You can hit that note in the 9th fret on the D string. And then you play the 7th, the 9th, and slide up to the 11th again. But I hit this twice, so instead of just going a 9th, D, 7, 9, and 11, I hit this twice and slide. So that note is slided up to from below. You can also bend it up. And then you can go on and, or you can go again. Another variation that's out of this little idea here, because already now I have something that I can, with the previous video we talked about rhythmic displacement. If you use these concepts, right. Also another little variation without the distortion. Again. Pinch harmonics. Right? Just step out of it and do something extra here on a new string, on the B string. I go 7 and 9 on the G, and then 8th fret, and pull off down to 7th. And then right back to my. So I go. And if you learn each step of this one at a time, it's easier to add something new. But if you're not, not a master of the first, it's going to be hard to do the next, and it's all going to be overwhelming and confusing. So practice each little bit, like 10, 20, 50 times before you move on. Again, super slow. Okay, let's add something to it now that we're up here. You go 9th fret, 8, 7, 9, 8. So you go back to the G string in the 9th fret, and then you play the 8 and 7th, just 3 notes. So I go upstroke on the lower note in the 9th fret on the G string, downstroke on the 8th fret in the 8th fret on the B string, pull off down to the 7th, and again. You see how that you do this over and over again, and suddenly you just have that moldable little entity that you can make fit to the music and improvise, actually. Okay, so you can also go for the 10th fret here. Again. Yeah, let's play that. And then, if you want to. There's no tabs for this, so learn it, record it if you want to. There's tabs in the program, I should say, for every single one of these little entities. And you see how you can develop this yourself if you want to? And, add notes to it, do different things with it. Let me just have some fun with just what we have here. And then I'll just give you one last nugget before we go. And the last nugget is that once you have that little structure, because this is a structure of notes, right? You got like a whole tone here, you got a semitone just below it on the G and the B, but you got that same thing in the key of E when you combine the first position minor pentatonic with the natural minor scale. You have the same structure up here, and the notes down here. So. Right? So you can move it around. So that was the 7th fret and the 12th fret in the key of E. Now you can download the jam track, start testing this out. Also, if you change the fingering a little bit, but that's of course another challenge. This is not another challenge, just moving it up. But I can go down here, for instance, in the 7th and the 10th in the scale and play. I can go. and play the same things, the same structure, although it's different frets, and I got minor third here and a whole tone there instead of a whole tone and a semitone there. But I can take the same movement and apply them anywhere in the scale, which makes a thing like this so useful. It's a joke. It's just staying in the same place on the neck, just working with it, hitting on it, you know, just stay there until you got total control. And can just, you know, spend minutes there, just figuring out new options. Right? Just stay there for long enough to really develop some confidence and those skills. So I hope you're up for it. If there's anything in here that you can't play, it's probably about rhythm. So you need to decipher what is the rhythm I can't play. Start tapping your foot on a 1, 2, 3, 4, really going slow, and then start practicing the rhythm of it or just the 3 notes that you can't seem to get right, can't seem to play. There might be a phrasing thing, like a slide or a bend or whatever it is, that you can't seem to get right. Just isolate it and start practicing it. Just that one thing, like 200, 500 repetitions, like whatever it is, just isolate it and practice it by itself. That's the way to get out of overwhelm and get out of frustration. I can't get it right. Just isolate whatever is hard and then nail it, repeat it, like as many times as you need to for it to be easy. That might take you actually just 5 minutes of doing the same thing over and over again. And then you can continue and put it into the entirety of what you're practicing here. I sincerely hope that you'll practice this to get a real experience in your body of what this means. It's so effective, and it will totally annihilate the challenge of not knowing what to play. In our program that you can get to if you click just below this video, you'll see, or you'll find, you know, tons of methods, tons of little concepts that you can use to do the same thing. We focus on rhythm, focus on strumming patterns, focusing on the notes, the phrasing techniques, and then constructing stuff like this. And once you have been doing this enough, you'll start doing it. Whenever you hear something, oh, that's a cool idea, and instead of learning the lick, you start building a little moldable lick that you can use when you improvise. And once the track or the music starts getting really fast, it's no problem because you got that handled. You know how to face these up-tempo songs, or the slower songs for that matter. It's just like, you know, when the tempo climbs, the challenge climbs as well. So that's all for now. Look out for the next video, which has another really cool concept in it. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.